Hello everyone, welcome back to Driving on the Spotlight. Been at work all day, on my way home now, and there's the news that we've interviewed TEN HAAG for the job, and it's supposedly gone extremely positive with the Man United board. I think every Man United fan, or well, I say every, maybe 90% of Man United fans want Pochettino. No, we don't. We want TEN HAAG. And I'm not going to pretend to be a TEN HAAG connoisseur or anything, but there's reasons why TEN HAAG fits Man United at the minute. And those reasons are: one, he's the next up and coming manager. He's the next manager all the big teams want, which is the number one indication why, if you need a manager and he's free, go get him. If City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Juve, anyone was after a new manager, they'd be looking at TEN HAAG as at least one of the top 3 candidates. His style of football, it's attacking, it's way away from what we're currently playing. He needs to be allowed to do what he wants with a structure above him, and just bringing Ranić, I can't get my manager's out, it's too late. Just bringing TEN HAAG to Man United now, like they've done with Ranić, and dumping one of these ex-players next to him on the touchline. Like, it's been quoted today that Man United have been looking at, I think, was it Ferdinand and someone else, can't remember, driving, about them becoming the next coach to the new manager. No. They've got Fletcher on the touchline now. With Ranić, what's that done? More jobs for the boys. He's sat there pissing about. What is he doing, Fletcher? Ranić sat next to him, and in an interview he said he don't know what his job is. Ranić might have done alright for us if he was allowed to bring his own people in, like he wanted to start with, and he wasn't allowed. So TEN HAAG has to be allowed to dictate what coaches he brings, or gets coaches from elsewhere. There's also rumours that we're going to get that Paul Mitchell, ex-Spurs director of football. I think he's been to Leipzig, Monaco. He's a well sought after director of football. So if these things are true, that we're going to get TEN HAAG, we're going to get Paul Mitchell, and if Ranić stays on in a role around there as well, at least we've got football people who are going to be in charge of footballing decisions. As for Murta and Arnold, we all know they've been part of the failure for the last 9 years. However, they were working with Ed Woodward, who was in control of everything. We have to see if Murta and Arnold are going to give up this power in the footballing side and just concentrate on what they are obviously good at, and that's commercial. Nobody cares how many sponsors United have if you're doing well on the pitch. That Tezos has just come on board, that's plastered all over everything. The only reason that the club are getting slated about that is because we're shit at actually playing football. If you want to get a £25 million sponsor, go get one. But before you go get that sponsor, make sure what's happening on the pitch is right. And some will say, well, you need the sponsors to pay for the players. We've spent, and this is another video that I might make later down the line. I'm struggling for content at the minute because I ain't got a PC, because I'm having my house rewired, but that's another story. Man United have spent £1.2 billion in the transfer window since 2012, and Manchester City have spent exactly the same. So people say about the Glazers not spending. They do spend, they've spent as much as City. The problem is who has been putting this money where? At City they've got Pep, his coaches, his scouting team. The people on the board at City allow Guardiola and the other managers before him to spend the money where they see fit. Whereas at Man United, it's all been the board and Woodward and You're not having this, you're having that. Get a Ronaldo in. Get a spotlight name in. Get an Harry Maguire in. Harry Maguire is not a spotlight name, by the way. He's got no to do with this channel. Unless he wants to come on for an interview, which is extremely unlikely. But it won't be a good one for him. But anyway, you know what I mean? The marquee signs, the Jadon Sancho last year. Sancho, to me, is the best of all of them. He's a 20-year-old, loads of talent, up-and-coming player. He is a player that a top side would want. Maguire and that lot aren't. Talking about players and overpricing, Pogba has also been chit-chatting again. Now he's on French duty, as he always does. I bet he's getting slated. I've not seen Twitter or anything about it, to be honest. But I like Paul Pogba. And if you talk to any of my mates, they'll tell you how much I've defended Pogba over the years. That this team has never been built around Pogba like it should have been. And even if you weren't going to build it around Pogba, we haven't had a team while Pogba's been here. And what he said is something about, I've been there for 5 years. The season's over. We've won absolutely nothing. It's not gone right. Blah, blah, blah. He's absolutely correct. Should he be saying it while he's on France duty? Probably not. But he's only speaking the truth, isn't he? Let's face it. I mean, you can't argue with what he said. It's completely true. The last 5 years have been pathetic. The trophies have been non-existent. And people will say he's having a dig at Man United, but he has said whether it's at Man United or elsewhere, he wants to win trophies. So if you get Ten Hag, you get a future in place. You get some assurances from Ten Hag and the board that they are going to build a squad, a proper team. That surely Pogba is one of the best midfielders in the world. He fits into any of the greatest midfields in the world with a structure and a proper team around him. My personal opinion on Paul Pogba, even though I am a Pogba fan, and I do think the team has never been built for Pogba. It's been names, and he was one of them names. It's a name here, a name there. Get this name here, name there. We've never built, not even for one transfer window, gone to build a squad. We've built a team of names. But my personal opinion, yeah, he's been here 5-6 years. He's going to want 400 grand minimum a week to stay at the club. The time has been and gone for Pogba at Man United. Let him go. It hasn't worked as much as I like him. Reasons for it, maybe, yes. But surely now we have to move forward and away from this ridiculous wage structure which he forms part of. So you get 400 grand a week back, even if he goes on the free, which he will. It's still a massive amount of money over a year. Huge amount of money saved on his wages. So you've got to let him go, and it's the same for Martial, in my opinion. Martial probably could come back and have a place in a team with Ten Hag, but a lot of fans don't like him. They think his attitude stinks. Seville say they don't want him, and there's even been quotes about him not having the right attitude even out in Spain, in Seville. If he ain't got the attitude and he's on 250 grand a week, he's been here for 5 years or so, how long ever he's been here, just move him on. And Martial and Pogba are good players, but they've been there for too long now and on too much money. If we want a rebuild, they're the kind of players you need to get rid of. The players that should have potential but have failed so far at Man United. And we always get back onto the player chat, because really what I wanted to say is, we gave the players, there was a lot of talk about players having a clean slate after Ollie, because what anyone says about Ollie, he was a poor manager, terrible, tactically absolutely all over the place. Favourites FC, never rotated, play the same people week in, week out, get battered by Leicester, Liverpool, City, Watford, losing in finals, semi-finals constantly. The players he's bought now and the things that have come out of that dressing room and been covered up, that was all under Ollie's watch. And yeah, he's a legend of the club, scored the most iconic goal in the club's history probably. But as a manager, I think he had, his heart was in the right place, but his talent wasn't there. He's a bit like Scott McTominay. Heart's in the right place, but he ain't got the talent. For me, do the players get a clean slate if we get Ten Hag or even Pochettino or any new manager? For me, no player should be allowed to dictate anything any longer. There's rumours that there's players talking about what manager they want, and some want Poch, and they shouldn't have a single muttering about who they want. They're not in a position to dictate anything because they've been serial losers over the last getting on 10 years now. And especially the crop of players that are there at the minute, they can't perform for 90 minutes. They'll bottle every semi and final they get to. Too much dressing room unrest. It seems like they can't get on, they can't get the mentality right. Why would anyone listen to them on who should be the next manager? For me, the board have to appoint Ten Hag. Ten Hag may be a failure, but at least it shows that they're trying to appoint the right kind of person. And like I've already said, Arnold and Merton need to relinquish that footballing power and go to the commercial side and allow Mitchell, Ranić, Ten Hag and their own staff that they bring in to dictate what happens on that pitch. Any other season, I would have said Declan Rice was a player we should be looking to get. But if we're going to have a limited budget with a Ten Hag style manager coming in who's going to change the face of the team, Declan Rice, he's not going to be the man, and he won't be the man under anyone else. One player cannot fix this squad. I really rate Declan Rice, and if we was in a position that City, Chelsea and Liverpool are in, where you're already on top and one player can make the difference, I'd be all over it. We need to be looking at players in the 30-40 million pound bracket and bringing 3 or 4 of them in, not bringing one Rice in for 80 and then hopefully getting someone else in on the cheap or a couple of old frees. We shouldn't be looking at anyone, I don't think, now over the age of 28. We should be looking at young players, or if you want a more established player, let the ceiling be 28, so they've still got 3 or 4 years left in them. We shouldn't be signing any more 30 odd year olds whatsoever. And I mean, yeah, that's my quick opinion on the drive home. Just update on the news, a bit of my opinion on Ten Hag. I think why we should get him. You know, like, favourite, subscribe, all that stuff. I'll try and get some more content out when I can. But like I say, my whole setup is away now. I ain't got one. Hopefully it'll be done by the weekend, but the way things are going, it might run into next week, and then there's still all the decorating and everything to do. So sometime next week maybe. I do want to get a video comparing the signings of Man U and Man City in this 1.2 billion they've spent, and see what we've bought against what they've bought. Maybe go through all the positions and see where we've bought better and they've bought better, because I can't see there'll be many positions where we have bought better. But anyway, yeah, like, favourite, sub, you know, do all that good stuff for the channel. I just enjoy chatting on here, so yeah, if you enjoy the chat, do the stuff, and I'll try and get another video out when I can. See you later, people.